Welcome to Chill Air. My name's Destro.
I'm Smoove.
I'm Xero. I learned what the name of this show was about an hour ago.
Yes. Anywho, second episode. Thanks for not watching the first one. I go back.
Yeah, go back right now. I haven't even watched episode 1 yet.
Go. You're not.
So I have no context.
No context.
I'm flying blind.
This is a thing.
This is the. Yes,
I
it's a
was
thing.
just chilling with the bros.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You mean you didn't even know you were recording episode 1? So our topic for today is video games.
He's the fucking guest. Why is he doing the intro?
Because I feel the need to keep you all on track.
The whole point is to go off track.
Ah, fair.
All right.
Waste their time. Yes,
Waste
sir.
their
The longer the
time.
better.
So do you want to give the intro for today's topic?
Okay. Today's topic.
It's video games. I'm taking his shine too.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man.
No, I'm joking. You got it.
So today's topic is video games.
Wow.
I don't even want to do this. I can't.
Introduce
Does it feel too
Yes,
stiff?
man.
Does it feel too stiff?
No.
He's not talking about his erectile dysfunction.
I haven't been able
All
to do
right.
that for
Speaking
months.
of erectile dysfunction, let's start in the middle. Biggest nostalgia boner.
Anything on Game Boy. Game Boy Advance, the blue brick, like Minish Cap, Pokemon Emerald. It's the music for me. It's the music for me.
I agree.
Like, if we could play music on this podcast, I would absolutely bring up like shit like Picori Forest from Minish Cap. That track is absolutely fucking banger.
out.
It's just way deeper than that. You don't understand
that's the point. That's
you don't
the
understand how little I know how to shut the fuck up.
What about you?
Nah, you go first. I already have mine.
Yeah, what's your
I want to be
what-
the closer
what's
so I
mine
can be
nostalgia?
what
important.
makes your nostalgia rock hard?
Metroid Prime.
Metroid Prime, classic.
You knew Shamus.
Game Boy.
You knew Shamus was a girl from the jump, huh?
No,
You
no,
like
no.
that metal
Actually,
suit.
no.
Do
Here,
it for
it's
me.
the best time. I was sitting there playing GameCube. I just bought Metroid from the GameStop. I say me, but my dad. Thank you, homie.
Homie. I'll never call my dad homie.
He's never going to listen to this. So I get home, I unpackage it, I pop it into the GameCube, and I start. I'd seen Metroid before, and I'd seen Samus before in other games, but I start in really graphically intensive for my time on GameCube.
Of course, Metroid
Because
Prime
it was
is
like so
amazing.
pretty.
Metroid Prime was a pretty ass game.
Yeah. So I get through the tutorial section, you're just clicking on the lights and, you're rolling around. And then I get inside and I'm like looking around and I walk up to a wall because I'm bad at, controller directions.
I feel that.
And there's kind of like this reflection in her mask, just a little bit. And then I saw her eyes for the first time.
Oh,
And I was like, oh shit. Metroid's a girl.
Metroid's a girl. You fucking moron.
Right. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then, I played Smash Brothers on the Wii.
Oh, Brawl?
Yeah.
Brawl was a classic time.
I did the Metroid Ultimate one time and it popped her suit off and I...
Oh, so that a literal boner as well as a nostalgia boner.
Yeah. I was
Wonderful.
like,
That's why it's so memorable.
beautiful. It was absolutely
penis
beautiful.
hard.
So would you say that's nostalgia for your boners and not nostalgia for old games?
No. It's definitely nostalgia for old games too. Like
Okay.
anytime I think of like older games, I just get super hyped. Like Majora's Mask. Like
Ooh,
every
Majora's
single
Mask.
time I think about going back, I'm just like, yeah, that's the one I'd start with. Like I like bought a Raspberry Pi and set it up as a retro gaming station just for that purpose of going back and playing those games.
Classy. I've been meaning to do that myself, but Raspberry Pis are expensive right now.
Just because they're hard to find. You can get a good cheap one for 20 to 30. As long as it has like 2 gigs of RAM, you should be fine.
Fair.
All right, Smoove.
My
Nostalgia
nostalgia
boner.
If I had to say what is my most nostalgic video game, it'd probably be Tekken 3. And not necessarily like specifically that game, but the memories of it. I used to have an uncle. I think he was my uncle. I really don't know what he was. We went to his house for like 4th of July to watch fireworks.
I'd say that's young.
We'd go over to his house for 4th of July, he had a really big house, like, you know, pool at the house, upstairs, you
Did
know.
he have the finished basement?
Finished
The
basement.
finished basement is... The finished basement is the birthplace of nostalgia. I don't care what the fuck anyone
So he had
says.
like, I remember he had like boas, like long ass snakes, just like in these little like glass cases in his basement.
Like some Native American shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're like fucking Tom Nook's house.
It was this big black guy. It was a big black guy. That's all I remember. I don't know what his relationship.
You're trying to tell me Tom Nook isn't black?
All right, continue.
But yeah, he was a big black brooding man.
Yes.
And I remember he had in his basement these arcade machines. And, you know, of course, we didn't pay for them because, you know, it's in his house, in his basement. And one of the games was Tekken. And I remember just this black man breakdancing on the ground, beating the fuck out of people in like the little trailer. You know when they show you like the game, insert the credit, whatever. Yeah, basically, yeah. So I saw this black man. I was like, man, that's the guy I want to play as. And I you know, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half the time. So I'm just up there, joystick in hand, smacking the fuck out the buttons, doing
beating
random
the fuck out them buttons.
And you know, Eddie was broken back in that Tekken, so doing that shit would work because you know he'd like lay on the ground and breakdance or whatever, so it'd make his hitbox, you know, different.
That's crazy.
So I would be beating.
I've never played Tekken. I don't know who Eddie is.
But Eddie is like
I was more Soul Calibur.
The jutsu,
Calibur.
you know, like the dancing little capoeira stuff to alter his hitbox and be really small. And I used to just beat the mess out of people. I went on winning streaks game after game, and that's just stuck with me, man. Next.
Bro, no, you don't want to just you don't just want to sit and talk about nostalgia boners.
You got literal boners. This didn't get me hard. These were just good games. That was just like that's low key my first game.
I put my heart and soul in this podcast.
Who cares? I care.
I actually turn around. Oh my god!
Viewers at home, my face looked like they had just killed my puppy.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand. What are we playing right now?
With myself.
Right now?
Oh.
right now?
Right now I'm doing nothing.
That's fair. Since I'm a dirty fucking weeb, I'm playing Persona 5 Royal right now. Yeah, and probably no one cares about Persona 5 because it's like a 700-hour game.
Oh, tell me about it. I want to hear all 699 hours. We've got time.
I want to hear the first 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes.
I haven't beaten the game yet.
Sounds like you should be playing it more.
Well, you know, if I had the time, I would. You literally, so for those who don't know, Persona in general, there's a calendar system where each day you have a given amount of time to complete tasks, and those tasks go towards either your combat or like your social skills, and that's like the main draw to Persona games in general, especially 3 through 5.
Yeah.
Is that it's basically like dating sim mixed with like your classic adventure RPGs. Yeah. So it's in my opinion, it's a really interesting game because it like almost mimics the complexity of life itself.
Yeah.
Where like, oh, shit's hectic one day and then it's calm another because you'll go from adventuring through the metaverse to asking out your high school crush, and it's and personally,
classic anime.
Oh, absolutely. Personally, the characters not in English. I don't think the English dubs are written very well. But I play it in English because I like to do other things while I play video games.
Same, I know,
and I cannot be bothered to read everything.
If you watch the first episode of Chill Air, you'll notice back then we gotta plug ourselves in ourselves. Very introspective. But we talked about how we both preferred listening to dub anime because we like doing other things.
Yeah, it's a stimulation thing. So people who find themselves like understimulated, they'll do a lot of things at one time.
You play anything else though?
Anything else? Oh, I torture myself by playing Warframe.
Me too.
Yeah,
you're not alone.
You played Warframe?
I played it. I didn't
played it like past tense.
Yeah, like so when it first came out, when it was free on Xbox, when I discovered it,
it's still free.
Yeah. I'm sure it's still free. But like I said, I past tense used to play it because like I got more drawn towards Destiny really. And you know it's funny because it's like low key segueing into what one of my questions were. No. But so my preference, and I'm gonna segue here because bump anything else. But
that's fair.
My preference here of like genre of video games is like RPGs, and I was playing Destiny at the time, and Borderlands. And then I was just like, it's Warframe, it's free. I heard one of my friends, my brother brought it up actually. Like, let's give it a try. And I was like, this thing's really complex. My brother rarely plays it, so I don't play with him. I give up. And that's just kind of where I stopped at it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get into like the crafting system where I had this one weapon I wanted to build. I didn't even know if the stats were good. I think it was like dual heat blades or whatever.
Yeah, you like literally stopped at like the very first 5 hours of the game. Whereas I've had like almost 3,000 invested in like my 7-year playtime.
What's your mastery level?
I am Pt.1 right now. And just like a quick sidebar, I think a good topic for a future episode would be bad video games and why we still play them.
I couldn't call Warframe a bad video game.
I can.
Oh.
I definitely can.
I don't play bad games.
MMR 17, I believe.
Oh, well then you're the highest MR you need to be.
Oh yeah. I'm in that bitch.
You're in deep.
Yeah, I've completed
skin.
At the time, not at the time of this recording, but at the time of the peak of COVID, I had completed the main storyline with 600 plus hours into the game. I had I still have a fully maxed out Mesa Prime with the best mods. Actually, fun fact, during COVID, before TennoCon 2021, I grinded for 2 weeks. I did not sleep for 2 weeks before TennoCon.
Wow.
To buy everything from Barokatir. And I did. So I have I have every mod.
You bought everything from Barrow's TennoCon Relay.
Yes.
For those who don't know, Barokatir is like Warframe's equivalent to Xer from Destiny. I feel like he's much more known.
Yeah, because I was just about to sit over here and just flex on the fact that I have a level 100 Charizard in Pokemon Fire Red.
Entirely unrelated.
I leveled it up myself.
Entirely unrelated.
Oh, okay.
This is more like I just completed 3 Pokedexes worth of content in one sitting.
Yes, and during their once yearly event, Barokatir, he brings every item he's ever had in his shop, ever, from like the first time he entered the relays to current.
I guess that's impressive.
Yeah, and that's expensive. That's
it's so expensive.
Veterans of the game that are much higher MR than us would have a hard time spending that kind of cheddar.
Oh yeah. And I did it. I did it for
game.
fun. I did it for flex. I legitimately just did it for flex. Like for my fans from Twitch and those of you that know me a little bit better, I'm just an Excel person. So I legitimately sat down and made a spreadsheet of everything he said with the cost and kind of timed out perfectly for the 2 weeks time between all of the different void missions. So I was legitimately cracking like at least one every 10 minutes.
How did you get all the void? Oh my god, the void.
The currency.
Like the void relics?
Not the void relics. Oh my god.
The essence?
I swear I have 3,000 hours in this game. The void essence. I know that's not what it's called, but the one that allows you to upgrade your relics to a higher
that it just kind of came with the process. Really,
that's fair.
Because
if you're
endless. If you are continuing to play void missions, you are going to get it regardless. And kind of my strategy there was to accept the highest items every single time and not upgrade my relics really. Mostly because I didn't care what it popped, I just needed it to pop quickly.
You just needed whatever.
Right. And I could have gotten through it much, much, much quicker than I did. But there was kind of like the onesie twosies and stuff that I just couldn't get rid of. Just stuff I didn't want to give up during the run.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. But that's not what I'm currently playing now, before we move on. What I currently am playing now is the Yakuza series.
Yakuza?
Yeah.
By any chance have you played... I haven't touched the Yakuza series.
I've only played the first one in the series, which is Yakuza 0. It is fantastic. It's not necessarily the first one that was ever made, but it's the first one in the storyline.
Oh, that's right. It's like a prequel to the very first
It's a prequel to the first game.
Okay.
And it is fantastic. It has really made me appreciate Japanese culture, not in a weird way.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
Does he say dame dame?
Yeah.
That's in
Xero? So the whole thing, and the only reason I'm still playing it, I've gotten to the last mission in the game. But I'm a completionist, so I want to beat everything. So I've been doing karaoke, I've been doing disco, I've been playing baseball,
Hell yeah.
I've been playing pool and darts. I swear to God, they cheat at darts. It pisses me off so much.
Darts?
They cheat at darts.
I mean, that's fair.
Like, it makes me so angry because like the whole darts minigame is that you're getting drunk while you're playing darts.
Oh, it's
so
drunk darts.
Yeah,
That's
so you complete one, and then the dude's like, yeah, let me buy you a drink. Go game 2. So he gives you a drink, and then you get fucked up just a little bit, so your vision's blurry while you're playing darts. So you have to get good at playing darts normally. You have to get good at the game mode, and you have to get good at darts while you're drunk. But it's still like, it's so fantastic. I've completed every side mission, every main mission, and every side mission, but not the arcade games. That's what I'm playing now. What about you, Smoove?
My turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
I'm playing, well, should I say, I'm completing Cyberpunk 2077. The reason why I pre-ordered the game, because, you know, I love Keanu
a mistake,
Reeves.
honestly.
No, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, the bugs low-key made it better for me. And it's funny because I have a bug in my game that literally is going to keep me from 100%ing the game, but I still love the game regardless. So there's this mission you can get kind of like at the beginning of the game called the cyber psycho hunting. You kind of got to hunt these cyber psycho sightings that pop up around the city. The very first one, it requires me to search a van. It's like not an optional objective. Well, it says optional, but you have to do it, which is stupid. Optional objective, search the van. While I was doing the mission, I didn't, of course, stealth my way in and kill the people like, you know, a normal player would. I kind of just threw a whole bunch of grenades under the pier and waited for them to die, basically, because, you know, the cyber cycles are like mini bosses. I was just like grenade, whatever. They all died. I went down there. There was no van. Like literally, no van spawned. I see the place where it was supposed to be. Like, it was there when I was walking up to the objective. But, you know, I naded it from a distance, and I guess I naded it out of existence. I even remember, like, I made an actual complaint to, like, CD Projekt Red. I, like, sent a little thing.
Oh, you sent, like, an actual bug
I was like, bro, I can't find the van, and there's no way of beating the mission if I can't find the van.
Fix your fucking game, you fucking moron.
Exactly.
Come on. I paid $60 for this. Come on. I paid $60. I can hear a quiet game. This is...
I understand.
Yeah, so, but
raging.
But the other bugs, like, low-key made it for me. Like, just the small little... Like, I know everybody wants to have that perfect gaming experience and that immersion, but that's what makes the game, you know, a video game to me.
Yeah,
when shit just kind of, like, messes up when it breaks.
I never
that shows
really
that
got,
human.
like, the rage that, like, people had. Like, the sheer amount of genuine rage people would bring to the table when, like, just, like, minor graphical glitches like that occurred. This was a big thing in... which Assassin's Creed was it where people's faces were melting mid-cutscene?
Wasn't that...
There was a good Assassin's Creed? No, I'm just messing.
I didn't say
Wasn't
good.
that...
No,
3?
I think it was Unity, the one that was...
I remember when Unity was the one everybody hated, because wasn't that the one where they went RPG style for Assassin's
Creed?
Yeah,
it was like... They went sort of Destiny with it, but Destiny in the Assassin's Creed universe, because that's kind of what it was.
The premise of Assassin's Creed was stealth. You're supposed to be an assassin. That's how the game was made.
Right.
For me to not be able to silently take down and murder somebody with my intensive training. Was that not a thing in Unity? In Unity, sometimes you have to be a certain level in order to, like, one shot and kill your enemies. So if you snuck up behind, like, say you're level 1, and if you snuck up behind like a level 20 and tried to silent assassinate him, you like do some damage, and he's like, what the fuck?
I mean, it makes sense if you're inexperienced. Like, so say you're an assassin in the Assassin's Creed world, and you're inexperienced, and it makes sense that you wouldn't be able to pull off stealth kills immediately, like at level 1. But at the same time, it's Assassin's fucking Creed.
They're assassins. They joined the Assassin's Creed.
It's Assassin's fucking Creed, and you can't assassinate people at level 1.
And like every other Assassin's Creed, you know, you could just walk up and kill people. It's not like
it's not hard.
You of course, as you play, you progress and you get upgrades. Like one of my favorite Assassin's Creed, I think it's Syndicate, the one with Jason and Evie. Because as you played as either or, they kind of each had their own skill tree. Like Evie was the master assassin; she can like stand still, camouflage herself, easy to lose.
Whereas Jason was the hunter kind of thing.
He was more like the beat people down kind of people. He was like bare knuckle brawler. So whenever you got into a fight, if you're using just your fists, you do more damage, or it's easier to stagger people and stuff like that. But like that, so it was stuff like that implemented. But it didn't matter who I was playing or who I'd gone with farther. If I am sneaking up behind that person, I can kill them. Because could you imagine if you're like in a story mission, you're supposed to target assassinate somebody and he's too high level?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Then what you do? You just box him and then it just beats the point of the stealth.
I guess the big counterpoint to that, to like that logic of being an inexperienced assassin, is literally the hidden blade does all the work for you.
Yeah, you just dead.
Hidden blade, and then you pop that shit back into your gauntlet, and then you're golden.
Yeah, it'd be different if I was like trying to like stab him in the jugular or it's just literally like a hidden blade. Just kind of place it where you want it to go and it just goes in.
And in Assassin's Creed times, if you get one good clean stab on a motherfucker, it doesn't matter what happens. He's going to.
It don't matter his level. He fucking dies because that's how it is in real life.
He fucking dies. He's gonna get shit in his wound because what was it like fucking medieval England?
He lays down on the ground and a horse.
I've caught death.
I've caught the death.
There's very few games I can honestly say that can flip on their head basically their whole premise and it worked. Like, good example, the God of War series, like the most recent one with boy.
Well,
That is not a God of War game. That's
fair because it's a reimagining of the series
and it works.
It does.
But going to Unity, coming from Unity, I mean not coming from Unity. But going to Unity, I feel as though that entire, like literally that mechanic is unheard of to me. Yeah. In God of War, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you're arena fighter, you're kind of beating the mess out of everything that comes at you. You know, it's cool. Yeah. You're still kind of beating the mess out of everything, but it's more story driven. Like the graphics got better. They cared more about what the story was rather than what you could do on the screen. And like the big giant boss battles and stuff like that, which you still have those like, you know, quick time events, those QTEs. Yeah. But you know, it's just more like focus on what's going on and the reason behind it rather than kill as much as possible. High combo. Exactly. And that worked. But it doesn't work in Assassin's Creed when, you know, I'm used to sneaking around and being stealthy. And then now I got to kind of like grind out, do these missions in order to get basically back to doing the same stuff I was doing originally.
Exactly. And it's weird because while it's kind of weird to have an adventure style game like Assassin's Creed and not have boss battles. But the very nature of like traditional boss battles in Assassin's Creed concept in itself, they're kind of oxymorons.
Yeah.
Like
going into that a little bit more though, like in the original Assassin's Creed and 2, I couldn't call those boss battles. Like you're just chasing somebody down. Like the most people that you're fighting is the goons,
the people that catch you. Though.
Yeah, the people that catch you.
Because you can get around everybody without having to start any fights, and that's the thing that makes it work. And I'm using this as an example. Imagine if Hitman just became like an RPG. Like you load into your mission.
I was just going to talk about it.
You load into your mission with your pistol or whatever. You got to take down this target dude. Just shoot him in the forehead from across the room with your suppressed pistol. He don't die.
What the hell?
Exactly.
Is this?
Exactly. Like,
is this a? Must have been the wind.
And honestly,
what's this like... dollar store 22?
Like, could you imagine the concept of having to level up in a Hitman game? It's unheard of. It's not natural.
Exactly.
That's why
you're already.
You're a hitman.
Agent 47.
Yeah, Agent 47. Barcode on head.
Barcode on head. Isn't he like James Bond, where it's the code name that sticks, but not the person? Or did they clone him?
Well, yeah, he's a clone. He's a clone. Yeah, but he's the best out of all of them. Like Agent 47 is the best agent, you know, because that's what the games are made of. Of course, there's
so do the clones have different numbers?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's why he's number 47.
Oh,
he's not the original. He's just number 47.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
So 47. Okay, thank you. I was not exactly clear on Hitman.
No.
Yeah, I feel like.
Yeah. But imagine that same premise though. Like it literally would be inconceivable. Like that makes the game not what it was, and that's what we play it for, so it can bring back what we want to play. That's the reason of reboots and sequels. Kind of, sort of like my opinion on it. Basically, you make a sequel to touch on what people love, and then add, I guess, better graphics or better mechanics that you probably couldn't do with the already released other games. That's what I want from experience when I get a next gen.
If you want that, if you're into like classic platformers, emulate or just like find a way to play Psychonauts and then get Psychonauts 2.
I've heard of the Psychonauts stuff, yeah.
What do you guys think of the next upcoming Battlefield?
There's another one?
So I'll have this conversation with you.
Oh, okay.
2040 whatever?
Yeah.
That got delayed.
Yeah,
it did get delayed, but the premise of it, from the trailer, it's all of the elements from the previous Battlefield game. So you have like the medics with the shock pads versus the dudes with shotguns or machetes. You know, it's like all of those elements coming into one game, and they've kind of flipped from like a battlefield type game towards a like free for all, like we're going to cater directly to our player base, and that's why in the trailer they had like the dude jump out of the plane, RPG another plane,
to that one famous clip,
as a reference to the one famous clip. But then they've come back with gameplay trailers where they're like, C4 tanks into the sky to take out planes coming by.
So they're like really embracing the player base.
Yeah, they're
and
really embracing
really nice.
the sandbox mechanics here, which is like it's not necessarily out of their like the jump from like Hardline. If you ever played Battlefield,
I love
Hardline. Play
Hardline was the best.
I didn't really.
I think it's the best because it's the one everybody hates. That's the
Yeah.
But that's how I am about with CODs too. Like I think the best Call of Duty ever is
Advanced Warfare. Everyone shits on Advanced Warfare.
Is Advanced Warfare. That's
I love Advanced
Advanced
Warfare.
Warfare is
it's
nice
still on my console now.
Because quick sidebar. Advanced Warfare is nice because it's a break from how serious Call of Duty takes itself.
That is also true.
And it's just so it was a really pretty looking game. It's funny because people always talk about, when they talking about like best CODs, they're like Black Ops 3. I think that Infinite Warfare is like Black Ops 3 but better. Like the graphics have been improved, the guns kind of still are all over the place. I think that's what people didn't like, is that there wasn't no defined meta because there's loot boxes and so many different kind of guns and multiplayer. That's really a dice roll. But that makes it unique though. But that's what makes it unique. I bashed on this current COD like Cold War and like the one before that, Modern Warfare. I think it was Modern Warfare, right? The one right before Cold War. Modern Warfare. One with Warzone. But And I don't like those games because those games have like set gun metas. Like back when the Growl was original, it used to just be a laser beam because it had no recoil. You run these attachments, you run this skin or whatever, this variant because you get the best iron sights. That's exactly the problem we face now in Warzone. Yeah. Because nobody really cares about like the new releases of Call of Duty games because they all implement back into Warzone, which I personally think is a really fucking stupid business mechanic. But that's another conversation. And that's exactly why I'm just like, I loved how unique Advanced Warfare was. Like, literally, everybody you could run into in that map could have literally any gun from thousands of guns. They could literally do anything. Each one has different perks. Then you still have your operators. Like, you have your warfighter that has an ultimate, kind of like, Apex is a good example. You get your ultimates, and then, you also have your kill streaks, and the kill streaks have different variants. All that was cool. And then I love the zombies because, they had like all these different maps that tied into each other, and they were all unique. Like you had the zombie map in the arcade, Zombies in Spaceland. Then you have, and they're all like whole movies, Attack of the Radioactive Thing, Terror in the Woods, Shaolin Shuffle. All that stuff was just goated. But getting back, because I've kind of delved
back to our like Assassin's Creed train of thought.
Assassin's Creed sucks. Not a good follow-up. Now it sucks.
My final statement for Assassin's Creed: they fucked up by killing Desmond.
That's fair. That's entirely fair. And honestly,
I would have kept buying the series.
Spoilers.
Oh, spoilers.
To look for what, like a 10-year-old game?
Yeah, spoiler.
Still, go look up the cutscene movie on YouTube. You won't miss anything.
Yeah, neither will Desmond apparently.
Oh, that's fucked up,
dude. It's just so bad. It was just like Assassin's Creed 3 had so many good things going for it, and then they killed Desmond. And then it made so much good sense. And then it just kind of nerfed itself.
Yeah, and I haven't kept up with Assassin's Creed story-wise, but from my understanding, haven't they just spent like the last few games just beating Desmond's dead corpse?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. And honestly...
the reference... This one's for you motherfucking game makers. The references that you made of like... them like defiling Desmond's corpse in Black Flag, taking out his like spinal fluid and his cum.
That's
why?
Canon? That's canon?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All fluids. All fluids. Like they took all of his stuff out of him because they're gonna, I thought at the time they were gonna go into like we're gonna genetically engineer another Desmond,
which would have been cool.
Which would have been so cool, but no, they just kept it in some jars.
That's kind of gross.
Yeah.
And speaking of the makers of Assassin's Creed, I feel like not that they've lost sight of their audience, but like they've kind of
you took one of the best nostalgia video game franchises from like the Xbox 360.
Oh, absolutely.
And have just gone straight for the shitter.
Honestly, I feel like Assassin's Creed would be up there with like crazy nostalgia games like Halo.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, what else? Like Like I genuinely think like if it kept on Borderlands, most definitely.
Yeah.
If it had kept on the track that it was going, like with 3,
Yeah.
I feel like it would be revered in the next 5 years as like on the same level, like how much people like Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Least favorite gimmick.
Least favorite gimmick? We talked about it earlier, and I did want to transition, but adding skill trees where they don't fucking belong.
Oh yeah,
Skill trees where they don't fucking belong are the most annoying thing. And I think to compound this, skill trees on top of other skill trees. We can go back to Warframe on this one. Do you know how many skill trees, technically speaking, do you know how many skill trees you need for one loadout? Let's count. You need one for your Warframe, you need one for your primary weapon, you need one for your secondary weapon, you need one for your operator, one for your sentinel, one for your Arcwing, one for your Arcwing melee, one from your Arcwing primary. We're up to 8 now. Yeah. We're up to 8 skill trees. I don't think that's all of them.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's prized on being customizable. But it's not so much as like the skill trees with them. It's also the fact that you need the mods. Like
the mods are like the technical skill tree that I'm referring to.
Yeah, no, I know. But it's like it's the fact that you need them. It's the fact that you can upgrade them too. They have their own upgrade mechanics that also affect your skill tree and will affect your other mods as you go through. Exactly. I'm agreeing with you.
Exactly.
It's so like
what I tell new players is, oh yeah, like what new players will come to me and say is like, oh yeah, I heard Warframe has like amazing customizability, like the modding system is super in-depth. And I would say Warframe does not have a modding system. Warframe has a basic functionality system, because if you take your weapons and your Warframes out into anything over level 30 combat, level 30 is very low level, by the way. Like your first week playing, you've already hit like level 60 content. I will say this now, because a lot of new weapons have come out that are good without mods. Not good, not like great, but they function on low level content. Into a mission, level 30, and you will run out of ammo before you complete your mission. You will run out of ammo. You will be fighting for your life with your melee weapon, which doesn't run out of ammo, but you will constantly be energy starved on your Warframe, because energy in Warframe is like your economy for casting your crazy ass superpowers. Yeah. I heard it compared to Destiny in a really funny way, where
it's like for any other RPG, it's your mana.
Yeah, it's like the mana equivalent, but like it has a super strange economy. And like it was compared to Destiny in the sense where like Warframe and Destiny are different in the sense that whereas Destiny, you're waiting for your super to charge up. You get your super all the time in Warframe as long as you have energy. Like it's got like it can have like 100% uptime in any mission, given the proper loadout. But then if you want to play the actual content, then you're fucked. You're genuinely fucked. You need the mods. You need the resources to rank up the mods. You need Endo and credits. So a build with 2 primed mods. Primed mods are like a cut above regular mods. That costs somewhere in the ballpark of 60,000 Endo for 2 mods. This isn't even like you get 8 mod slots in your average build, by the way. So this is 2 of your main mod slots on any given type of weapon or Warframe. That is an investment of 60,000 Endo, which is a fucking lot. Average missions, you'll end up leaving with 20 Endo.
Yeah, 20. 100 if you're lucky.
100 if you're very fucking lucky. There are ways to farm it efficiently, but they're so few and far between. And then that's also an investment of 4 million credits.
Not to mention Forma costs.
Forma. Oh my god, don't even get me started on Forma. That's an entirely different thing.
Whole different thing.
It's like Forma in Warframe, if you're not familiar, is basically Call of Duty prestiging, but it's for each individual weapon, and it's required if you want the maximum mod capacity possible.
Yeah.
And there's no limit to how many times you can do it, whereas Call of Duty, you max out 10 times. Warframe, you can do it infinitely.
I feel like we're just both bitter at Warframe.
Very fucking bitter.
I love the game. I
love what the game could be.
No, I love what the game is. Like I absolutely fucking love Warframe. Like even after when the ship update first hit.
Oh, Railjack. Railjack was garbage. I'm sorry.
Crap, man. Like I like it was sexy. Like really good cutscenes.
Great concept. It was half baked.
Oh yeah, half baked from the get go, but still like the whole point for me is that it's growing, and I'm like legitimately sitting here watching it grow. And I think a lot of veteran players will agree that it's just like it's been a full journey, you know, just with the community and how the developers, like, they have weird mechanics, but they care.
Two things. You know what? Fuck it. One thing, because I forgot the second thing. Fun fact, I've been to TennoCon, their yearly event, in Toronto. No, not Toronto. I'm sorry, London, Ontario. I'm terrible at geography. I've met the developers. They're nice people. Their creative director, or rather the full director, he owns DE. Steve, I forget his last name because I don't respect him. It's like talking to an NPC, but instead of everyone talking to a separate instance, it's like in an MMO.
Yeah.
Like where everyone talks to a separate instance of that NPC.
Dragonborn, I've got a quest for you.
Exactly. Except it's like
Dragonborn,
we all share the same...
I've got a quest for you.
It's like we all share the same instance of Steve.
Yeah.
So I went to go get a picture with him because at the time I still thought he was a really cool guy. Now I have no respect for the man. And I was like, hey, Steve, I love what you do, man. Is it cool if I get a picture with you? And he's like, yeah. In the middle of me squaring up for this selfie with Steve, some motherfucker comes up and says, hey, Steve, I love what you do. And he like gives the generic NPC answer like, hey, thanks, man. And he shakes his hand and they like lock a gaze for a second and he's like, cool, bye, and he walks off. And I'm just sitting there like a fucking moron holding my phone up with no one because Steve walks out of frame. And there's like a line of people behind me waiting to talk to Steve.
They skipped your cutscene,
and they're all looking at me.
They skipped your cutscene, bro.
They skipped my fucking cutscene.
The protagonist came in and they skipped the cutscene,
They
bro.
skipped my dialogue.
There was no character building there.
How does it feel being another NPC? I've lost all respect for Steve as a developer, as a human being.
Steve, hit us back, man.
Yeah, Steve. If you remember me, I'm the Hispanic looking kid with really poor facial hair.
He had dreams in his eyes before you walked away.
I did, Steve, and he did come back for the picture. I've now lost said picture, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, so you got the picture though.
I did get the picture,
so
but he
doesn't
made me
have to
look like
lie
a
us now.
fucking fool.
Oh,
but at least you got it.
I did get the picture.
though.
Anyway, so
it would have been a travesty, like a working travesty that he just walks out and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's
what
what
we thought.
Honestly, I should have left it like that. It would have been way funnier for the podcast, but that's okay. In conclusion, Rebecca and Megan from the
Did you say his name was Steve?
Yeah.
Steve. Yeah, his name is Steve.
Steve. Shout out to our boy Steve.
Oh my God.
The hood hero.
The hood hero.
Yeah, that's funny.
Inside stuff.
In conclusion,
joke,
Rebecca and Megan
I'll talk
from their
about it
community
next.
team are infinitely cooler people. I had like when they hold TennoCon, it's around when my birthday is, and I had gone with my cousin, and we were getting autographs on bandanas, which I do actually still have. I have an autograph from the entire dev team, including Megan or Rebecca from the community team. And my cousin had gotten to the end of the table where Rebecca was sitting before me. And he was like, oh, it's my cousin's birthday. It's my cousin's birthday. And like she stood up with like a really warm smile and like pep in her voice. And she was like, oh my God, happy birthday. And I was like, thanks, Space Mom. Oh, sorry, that's out of context. Rebecca Ford is the voice actor for the Lotus in Warframe.
Yeah.
If anyone didn't know.
Yeah.
Like Space Mom wished me a happy fucking birthday. And it made my day.
But here's mine. It's more of a pet peeve, really. It kills me every single time, and my best example would have to be a slept-on game called Recore.
Like R-E?
Spell it.
R-E-Core.
Recore. I've heard of that. I have no idea what it's about.
So basically, Earth died.
Okay.
And they like had all these people and scientists going into space to colonize a new planet. They had already like picked one out, and they had shot over these robots to kind of set up the place and terraform the planet before they got there.
Always a good sign.
Always a good sign. And they're like the power source in the world is cores, and it kind of gives your mechanical creatures their personalities.
Interesting.
Well.
So it's not just like a power source, but it's like a life source.
Yeah, it's legitimately their life source.
That's interesting.
And your character, I can't remember her name. She's a redhead-haired girl. You wake up in your kind of like pod that's on your like Land Rover ship, and you're like, what the hell happened here? And you're figuring this out through like like lore and dialogue throughout, because you kind of start off like you're already there.
Oh, so like Dark Souls style, you find out the story through context clues.
Yeah.
So
There's
what's
a
so,
lot of context clues, though.
So what's so slept on about the game?
So what's slept on? It's a great game. There's plenty of fun mechanics. There's plenty of game. There's a lot of game.
Okay.
But it's and the problem that I have is that it's repetitive. It brings back a lot of like, you're playing a game. You have to go into this dungeon to get an item, but it's like a one-time use item, and you get it at the end of the dungeon. And then once you get out, you can go in and again to get another one. And when you get out, you can go in to get another one. It's not unique. You can get one every single time. And it's like a one-time use and go on. And the pet peeve here becomes like the game just felt repetitive. Like when you fight things, it feels repetitive. When you fight the bosses, it feels repetitive. The main mechanic to kind of defeat things is like, one, it's a like third-person shooter.
Yeah.
So, you have a space gun that you can charge different like energy type bullets into, depending on the 3 colors of core that you have. And then...
so you got like a little bit of Metroid in there.
Yeah. And then your finisher to actually kill things or to collect resources, you throw this little rip hook into them and you yank their cores out.
I feel like any game with combat like that is significantly improved by a grapple mechanic. Specifically like a grappling hook.
Yeah.
Or like a grapple knife.
Yeah, you're playing as this red-haired girl with an attitude, and she's just like, and you're wrenching it forward, and like it's a fantastic game. Like it's really pretty, like not necessarily super graphically intensive, but like it's an open world game, and that it made so much better. Like especially since like the bigger dysfunctional creatures are like huge, so you feel small. But then, you rip out this big, huge orb from them, and you're like, yeah, fuck you. I just did that.
The attitude.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like, the thing that makes me sad again is like the repetitiveness of missions. Like, one of the games that I started playing recently that I haven't picked back up is Outriders.
I wanted to try Outriders because a lot of the Warframe veterans actually picked up Outriders when it came out.
And it's fantastic. Like, dynamic skill tree. If you don't like it, you can go back, and your points are transferable. Your weapons, it's kind of got the upgrade trees too. There's in-game resources that you can grind up. You can play the same missions over and over and over again, and like your party can play the same missions too, because it's a 3-person team game. You can complete majority of the game by yourself, but it's better in a team because it's supposed to be like a buddy system. But the thing that killed the game for me was right at the beginning. There's a scene where you enter a store and you're like, hey, you got any weapons? And he's like, no, not in the front, but the good stuff's in the back.
Hell yeah.
And then, dude busts in, gives a piss poor reason to be there, and then shoots the dude dead.
The shopkeeper.
The shopkeeper's dead.
Well, that's
like, just gets obliterated. And
so
then,
does that mean I still have to pay for my Cheetos?
Right. So you turn around to the dude and you're like, yo, what the fuck? And he's like, well, my gang boss told me to come do this. So you're like, well, guess I gotta kill your gang boss. You kill him, and then you move on into the back room. Not necessarily the back room of the store, but like another back room in the main area.
Right.
To where you're going to fight this boss.
Take things outside.
You kill him. Very generic ending. You come back, and then you meet a girl who opens up a weapons vendor, and it's kind of like a way to get the weapons vendor at the beginning of the game. But it's
so it's sort of like unlocking your hub, sort of thing.
Right.
Well, that's an interesting way.
Yeah, and it's unique, but every mission in the game you can replay at any time for a chance to get better loot. It does nothing changes. So you could play the same mission, you could play that mission 100 times, and you'll see the old man die every single time. You will meet the shopkeep for the first time and get all the same dialogue. You will get the same types of rewards at the end, but a higher tier. And then it resets and you can do it again instantaneously.
So that's a very weird mechanic then, because there are other games that do have that sort of thing where you can go back for...
But that's the most painfully obvious version of that mechanic. It's like, kind of like in Borderlands where you enter... I'm not saying Borderlands does this a lot, but it's like when you enter an area for the first time, it spawns all those enemies. And then if you were to enter the same area again, it would spawn all those enemies. And then when you enter it again later, it spawns all those same enemies. It's like, it'd be like that rotating mechanic to where it's like you're having to go through the same steps every single time. And it not only drags the game on a little bit, but it makes it a little less unique every single time you do have to fight them again.
But granted, with stuff like that in Borderlands and grinding those and those missions, those are always optional.
True.
You know, your gear can in using Borderlands could get you through to the end of the game. Replaying is only just a thing, is the replayability factor. Because the thing that, and it's funny because a lot of games either hit or miss on it, of course, is the replayability factor. Like, that's the thing where it's funny bringing up the age-old debate of, like, what's better, PlayStation or Xbox? And, you know, in my opinion, in my biased opinion, I guess, I say Xbox. But the thing I always will tell people is, you know, like, PlayStation is good, but PlayStation is good for exclusives. It's good for great game. My first time playing through, there are very few games I think I can sit down and say, yeah, let me play Spider-Man again. The whole story. Let me do that again. Let me play the Uncharted series
and this is
all the way through again.
This is like I've heard it very well once before, and this is becoming less and less true as time goes on. As like Japanese and just Eastern games in general are coming to like America or just the West in general more often. But like if you wanted to play like your Japanese exclusives that like are only getting ported to PlayStation, then you play PlayStation. Because like the Tales series was exclusively on PlayStation for a long time, like a really well-renowned JRPG. A classic example. It's kind of off topic from PlayStation and Xbox, but the Earthbound games.
You can't just change it like that because he just dissed Xbox. Not gonna defend it.
No, fuck Xbox.
Wait, whoa,
fuck Xbox.
Whoa.
Look,
if you're one of the ones that we can, I'm sure if I say this, and I'm going to say this as literal proof, we can all agree, right, that the superior form and platform of gaming is the PC, correct?
No.
You don't think the PC is the greatest?
No,
I'm going to
say this. The superior platform for gaming is the one that you enjoy most.
No.
Shut
the
fuck
fuck
this
up.
is not
Shut
an
the fuck
anime.
up.
This is not no
It's
fucking
the one you
this is
enjoy
this
most.
is this is not no anime. This is not no. I'm sure
Bro.
y'all, if y'all wanted to go and be like, "Oh, my Nintendo Wii's the best gaming platform out here," y'all would say I'm fucking stupid.
No.
I know you would.
Okay,
because I know
okay.
y'all be.
Could we all agree though that mobile gamers are
Mobile
so
gamers
stupid?
can
They
suck.
don't, they,
I-
they're not in this. They weren't included. That's not
Those are not
gamers.
gamers.
Those aren't gamers.
Yeah,
You know, it's
take
fun.
that.
But
It's
back,
funny
back,
because my
back,
friend, she
back,
recently
but
told
back,
me.
but back to my point. But my point, we can all agree that when it comes to performance and graphics and all this other stuff, that what reigns superior is PC, correct?
It depends
I
on
would
how
give
much you like graphics.
But no, I'm saying it's yes or no, right?
Okay, objectively speaking, the hardware power put behind PCs is objectively greater,
Right,
number-wise on a spreadsheet.
Not even
Right,
objectively.
right.
It just
is.
is. It's like
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, the fact that for consoles and their marketing to have come out with teraflops, a completely made up jargon word to sell their consoles.
Yeah,
in terms of
teraflops is kind of a
performance.
bullshit measurement. And if
It's
anyone
legitimately
throws teraflops
bullish.
at it,
It's legitimately bullshit.
it literally is.
So, you know, like the good thing about consoles
This might
is
get
that,
nerdy.
yeah, the good thing about consoles is that they perform well for what they are intended to do. They are kind of an entire subsystem away from what a PC should be. And then they kind of try to come back a little bit, like at least with Microsoft, with like, let's add a DVD player, let's add a web browser, let's add a store, let's switch to an online platform, let's do it remotely. And it's like, you know, some people probably don't want a game on their PCs. They probably want a dedicated thing specifically for gaming to save storage space or whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, it boils down to what you want to do for your convenience. I think
I'm still going to finish this point.
I know you're gonna finish this point.
Yeah, we
I'm not trying
can't
to
shut
delay
you
it
up
from
about
it,
this.
but it's just kind of like that's why I say it's like the platform that you like is the best is the one that you're more comfortable with, because some people want to come home, kick their shoes off, sit down in their lazy boy,
Press
and
one button to turn on their
one
console.
button and then go.
Exactly. It's so convenient.
It's so convenient. But other people, like me, I want to get home. I want my dual monitor setup. I want to be able to do, like task manager on the side so I can run analytics on my computer. I want to be able to play the game. I want to have a chat open. I want to be
Absolutely.
You don't get that kind of mobility on a console, especially when you're streaming too. I could not imagine what you do, Smoove, with Elgato connected into your Xbox to play online at a competitive level and then stream that to somebody or record that for a video. I could not do that because it's just so streamlined on PC.
Literally just download OBS. And it costs you
That's what I
nothing.
use. That's what I use.
Yeah.
I use my Elgato.
Yeah, but you still need
my Elgato's hooked up because you have to
still need the capture card.
Yeah, you have to have the capture card in order to convert it to your computer. That's what
I
that's
use?
why
My
I have to
graphics
do it.
card. You know what? I don't have to pay another 150,
But
160.
like I was saying, we can all agree that when it comes to the aspects, when it comes to graphics, when it comes to performance, when it comes to all the nitty gritties of what makes a game a good game, not necessarily nostalgia, we're talking about the superior platform here would be PC, correct? Yes.
Sure.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what does Sony make?
Sony, like Sony Entertainment
What
Studios.
is Sony? The people that own PlayStation, what does Sony create? What are they known for? Their entertainment systems, right? Their televisions.
They're known for
Audio.
Sony players.
worldwide
correct?
across every age group. They're known for their films.
That is also
Even
true.
that's what they're known for.
What
is Microsoft known for?
Windows.
Windows.
Worldwide across every age group.
And that is associated with computers. So when it comes to me picking my gaming console preference, I'd much rather trust the people that work with PCs, the obviously superior of the two, than the people that make televisions and my Blu-ray player.
I'm settling this.
Microsoft is a garbage company.
You can
overall.
get the fuck out,
Okay.
Xero.
No. The best platform for gaming overall, hands down, not PC, not Xbox, not PlayStation, nothing Nintendo.
It's the Switch.
Nothing Nintendo has made in the last 10 years can compete. KFC air fryer gaming console.
God damn it, you beat me to it.
Do you know what we're talking about?
That and Soldier Game.
Soldier Game.
Soldier Game, man. Oh my god.
Yes. Do you know about Soldier?
Yeah.
Nothing can beat it.
Look, man, before they were discontinued, Soldier Games were the fucking shit.
Yeah, man. Also, I will say, as a preference, if I could not play games on PC, Xbox over PlayStation.
That's cheating. Because Xbox games get released on PC and PC games get ported to Xbox.
I'm just
now,
saying.
They do now.
Not even just talking about
just
like I said,
like not even about games at all. It's just like the UI looks cleaner. They're a little bit more bricky and they're not aesthetically pleasing, but they just run smoother. Like my OG original Xbox One ran colder than my PlayStation 4. I legitimately had to get a external fan to cool the top of it because it would start warping on the sides because it was getting so hot.
Oh my god!
And and for me, I've always going from what I played originally with like plug and play games into my television and
the Pac-Man plug and play.
Yeah, and those like heavier console and those heavier controllers. I've always liked a heavier controller, and the PlayStation has always had that. Like, and I don't like where the thumbsticks are either. Like, I don't game naturally. Like,
it's weird because
this.
Nintendo has experimented with how they fucking put the thumbsticks around.
Freaking
like
the middle. Freaking
okay, we'll talk about the Switch next. But if anyone remembers the Wii U Pro controller,
I own it.
Where the D-pad and face buttons were swapped places with the thumbsticks compared to PlayStation layout. So thumbsticks were on the outside up towards the top by your shoulder button. So you were like stretching your thumbs up to your index fingers to try and touch the sticks. It was terrible ergonomics.
Even with still on the Wii U, even with that, their face buttons, they did it differently too. They use the classic X, Y, B, and A like Xbox, but Y is not up top. Y is this button, and then X is this button.
Y is on,
and then B is at the bottom.
All of the buttons are on all
right
the different places.
Exactly. As a Nintendo kid, Xbox was backwards for me.
But like I was saying, I like a heavier controller, and then the PlayStation controller was always just so light, flimsy. I always felt like it could break. I always held the Xbox ones. It's just nice. It felt nice. The grip nice. Then of course, as Mr. Destro himself was saying, it's the one that I grew. Well, no, I grew up with PlayStation because I owned a PlayStation 2 and I owned a PlayStation 3, and then I think my first Xbox literally was the one.
Man.
Like I played a 360.
Then you missed the best Xbox era.
I'm saying I played the 360. I just never owned one. My parents bought me my first console that was bought for me was like a DS. Then I got in trouble. So then the next one I would get was the Wii. So I didn't. And then after the Wii, I think then I got my PlayStation 2. But I was already behind, and so then when I got the PlayStation 2, my dad got the PlayStation 3, and my dad was PlayStation his whole life. So he gave me his 3 when the 4 came out. Then my 3 got messed up because our house got struck by lightning and it shorted. Wasn't on a surge protector. I'm not a gamer. I wasn't a gamer then. It was just plugged into the wall and then never cut on again. And then my dad was like, Christmas, here's the Halo. What was it? Halo 5? Halo, the one that came out with the one. Halo
5 didn't come out with the one. That's
No. That would have been like
it had a specific Xbox.
I know which one you're talking about.
I have the Halo Xbox.
It's the Halo Master Chief Collection one.
Wasn't that
it was
way later
one
down the line though?
The one that came out. It was a specific Xbox bundle.
We're gonna have to go to Google for this one.
All right, Google. Halo
Special Edition Xbox.
Special Edition
Xbox One. Because they did have special editions for the 360.
There was the there's a ton of these.
Yeah, there's a fuck.
I wonder why.
It was Halo 5.
It was
Halo 5 Guardians.
Wow, Halo 5 came out that long ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It feels like it came out just a couple years ago.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now. That's literally the console
the blue one.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that the one that made all the cool sounds?
Yep,
too?
when you cut it on, it makes classic. Yeah.
I will admit, later Xbox really got
they got
it. Like we said before, the tuning of the console.
Mm-hmm.
I have to admit, Xbox has always been rock solid in terms of their hardware tuning, and aesthetics. Both visual and auditory aesthetics have always been awesome for Xbox.
You're
like PlayStation slacked a little bit on the 4 in terms of aesthetics.
Dude, no. The worst thing that Sony ever released was the PlayStation 4 Pro, which added another stack to the top of it, and they made it
double-decker sandwich.
The double-decker PlayStation. That shit was weak, man.
I hate it.
There was no
incentive. That was my console. I was always PlayStation, but then I got an Xbox.
I started on Xbox.
That's when I actually got into gaming. Was with the Xbox as well, and I was just like, dang, this plays just way better than the 3 that I had. Dang, and of course it does because it was the next gen.
No.
So I never really experienced PlayStation 4. Then I see my dad play, and then it's just like. None of these games were really because my dad never played he played all the exclusives. He had all the God of Wars, so I played all the God of Wars. I had all the Uncharted's. I played the Uncharted's on the new console, and it's just like those games never really stuck. They never made it to where I was like, yeah, I gotta have a PlayStation to get this.
They're great games that you'll never remember.
But I will say games that I remember and that stick most with me, and it's funny because I have this unpopular opinion that Sunset Overdrive. I don't know if you might know.
That was a game that fell off very quickly.
It was trash so much, but I love it. I love Sunset Overdrive. It's such a great game, and I've recently replayed it because I still own it on my Xbox from when I got that one, and it was free on Game Pass.
Damn.
Yep, I still own it. Still got it for free. Not giving them a single cent of mine. But I remember playing it on my Xbox and just how pretty it looked, how smooth it ran, how good it was. Just all the best gaming experience I could ever have. I remember just on an Xbox too. Yeah. So it's, as much as it's personal bias as well, it's just always been superior to me regardless from what I've been playing. And I've been dabbling in both.
So my question then is, why didn't you bring this up during Nostalgia Boners?
Because and it's funny, I wasn't really thinking as like what game really kind of
We had to
got
jog
back to me. Yeah, until we started talking about, y'all started naming stuff like, RPGs and elements. And I was just like, dang, what really all have I played? And I thought of 2 games really that like kind of stood out.
You went into the vault.
Yeah, and
the
then,
memory vault.
I found Sunset Overdrive,
Dark Memories,
and I found Army of Two.
Yeah,
Army of Two. Army of Two is crazy. I never got to play it. It was one of those games where I only got to see a sibling play it because I was
couch co-op. I was couch co-op with my brother every time we played.
No, I never had the pleasure.
And shout out to Kyle, because I'm gonna tell him about this because I'm mentioning him now. But we had so many great times playing Army of Two on the PlayStation. Then that's what makes it crazy, is because like I had some really good moments playing that PlayStation game with my brother. But even that like kind of paled in comparison to like the people I met while playing Xbox. But alas, back on old stuff. Yeah, me and Kyle just had a really good time playing that. Like that's a game I think I wish would still continue, low key. Like if Army of Two, the revived, revamped, or whatever, they'd immediately get my check for that.
So for me, what got me, because I was an Xbox baby. It's all I knew. It's all I had. I started with the 360, and when I got to high school, my buddy Noah gave me the 360 Wi-Fi USB adapter to play online. So goated. It was that decision. That is what like flipped me on my head with video games, because I got to experience all the racism of the Xbox 360 Call of Duty lobby.
Oh my god!
In prime time, mind you.
Time racist
underage 13
racist. Exactly. It was fantastic. But from that point forward, I will say it was like when I went to the Xbox 360, went to Xbox One. And then once, like, I got really into Dark Souls when I got into Xbox One. Yeah. Because it was just the topic my friend group had. It was just like, have you beaten all the bosses? You're not a real man until you go beat the boss.
Oh wow! So you were a part of the origins of every game is Dark Souls now.
Every game is Dark Souls. Yeah.
That's.
So it was fantastic. Because we got so giddy about it too. Like we'd have 1v1s or 1v2s in there. And like one real good memory that I had was it was me and Noah, and he was trying to show me the Uchi Katana from Dark Souls 1. He was just trying to explain to me how it was the most broken weapon for bleed damage, and I can't.
Your first foray into metagaming.
Right. And then I got in there, and I was just like, I'm gonna mess around. I just got this whip, whap, crack. Be gone, thought. So I got in there, and I had a shield, had my whip, and he swung at me. So I blocked, I went whap, and then I blocked, went whap, I blocked, and I went whap, got that bleed effect, killed him instantly. It was one of the first and last times I had ever actually beat him in a 1v1 scenario, and I knew he was trying.
You had a hipster dodge build.
Yeah.
You had a hipster dodge build.
I freaking noob tubed him with a freaking whip, man.
Noob tube.
It was so good, man.
That takes me back. Noob tubing was hilarious.
Yeah. But basically, after Xbox One, I kind of got, when I got into college, I was just like, I spent a lot of time studying. I spent a lot of time on my laptop. Like, I played a lot of games too, and I bought a lot of games during that time. But when I moved back home, I was just like, I don't have a TV. So I was just like, it's impossible to play this properly without a TV and a desk.
Right.
So when I said, if I'm going to have to buy things, I wanna move up. I didn't really have that like friend group anymore either for like Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah.
So
it's really sad how that kind of dissipated. It's like the memes last online 7 years ago.
Yeah, man.
That shit, that's like real pain.
Oh, for real. But I sold my Xbox One and my PlayStation 4 as a combo. And to not just completely miss the point. What I was saying about the PlayStation 4 was that since I've circled all the way back around, for one summer I worked at a Chick-fil-A as my first job to save up money and buy a PlayStation 4 because Bloodborne.
Bloodborne, I will
That
agree.
is that is what got me, because it was pretty. It was Dark Souls. My friend group constantly raved about it. Nobody was willing to buy me a PlayStation 4, so I worked my first job to buy one. I bought it, played Bloodborne maybe 3 or 4 times. The only time I ever turned on the console. Like, legitimately, I had so many games. I had like a full games library that I never touched, because every time I turned on my PlayStation 4, fuck you, Sony, it had an update. Took an hour and a half.
Microsoft is better.
Oh god.
Right.
Yeah.
Anytime I'd get through the update, I'd wait the hour and a half, still going strong. I'd start the game. Game has an update.
Yes, I will admit that PlayStation 4 era had terrible, terrible Wi-Fi.
It was every time though. It was
every
you know,
time.
like even like I played Doom on
Oh, Doom
yeah.
2016.
I played
Yeah.
that on the Xbox.
yeah.
I don't
like,
know what it is. I have it. I can't.
Doom
It can't get my
was
attention.
good arena. You
Yeah.
know how you said you like grappling hooks and stuff like
But
that.
that's Eternal.
But
Yeah.
but I'm just saying like Doom gore is like that gore is still the same.
I played the
Yeah.
shit out of it. Like I played a handful of the
Doom
missions a
gore,
lot.
same man. Yeah, beating those imps, the shit out of them. Like
It's a
getting-
fun
shit.
game.
Yeah.
It can't hold my attention.
Yeah, I understand.
What do you like?
Rip
Not
and
12
tear.
inside?
Exactly.
Because I'm 12
I
inside.
have a
That's
great time when I play
blood
it.
and gore gets me in
I
it.
have a great time when I play it, but Doom is like the only game that I've played where I'll get to the end of a mission and I'll be like, yeah, that's enough.
Bro, with a BFG, big fucking gun.
No, it's not that great for me.
I understand. I for real though, like I fully understand. Now, you know, I finished up the statement because loved Xbox baby for life. I prefer PlayStation controllers.
PlayStation controllers are very comfortable to me.
The only thing that I like about it though, I had like an Xbox One Pro controller, and it wouldn't like play on my PC very well. Like it wouldn't do it at all. Like it wouldn't connect properly through USB. It wouldn't connect to Bluetooth properly. So I instantly threw it aside. I dug out a PlayStation 4 controller. I figured out the latency between the controller and the mouse and keyboard was like almost zero.
Yeah.
I tweaked my joysticks in there to give them like almost no drift. And legitimately, like that's what, like, you know, my shout out to all of my Twitch follows. Like, you guys know that I was cracking in R6 during quarantine. And the reason was because I had that, you know, PlayStation 4 2.0 controller and just snapping, man.
Oh yeah, their updated version with the
Yeah.
extra light bar.
Exactly.
One beef that I wish they fixed in the 2.0 controller is the fucking sun on the back of the controller that wastes ridiculous amounts of battery life.
Wow.
Like, I get it, they're LEDs, and LEDs are ridiculously low power. But I honestly believe that you'd get an extra at least hour if you were able to turn it off all the way.
Oh, I do. Like, DS4, for all of you guys that want to play controller on PC, you can turn off all the lights, you can turn off everything. You can turn off everything, man. You can set your own custom light to it.
That's cool as hell.
I'll send you the link.
I might need that, yeah.
Destro here. This week, we recorded a ton of content for you guys, so stay tuned for Videogames Part 2. In the meantime, you can always listen to Episode 1, or leave us some comments on our YouTube channel, Chill Air by Destro Smoove. Thanks for listening.